Happy Friday, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
We really got to change that joke. It's getting
I
old.
know. I keep laughing every time because I don't
Well,
think about it until after it starts playing, and I'm like, crap.
well, technically, it is called old,
Right.
so we're allowed to reuse. I mean, the
It
first word in it is
it's
old,
Well,
so
we're
we're allowed
5 episodes
to
in, and I've not
it's
changed it yet.
vintage.
It
reuse.
is at this point.
Yes, RetroTech Chris, we did make it to another week, thank God. And Trina actually decided to show up.
I
That's
was
true.
I was
She
awake.
didn't sleep in.
I
Yeah,
didn't
and
sleep
and
in.
and and Frank wasn't arrested, so here we
That's
are.
right.
Well, all
That's
right.
right. Here we are. Here we are. Another wonderful week.
So who do we all have in the
So
chat tonight? We have. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up. We have Retro Techie, whatever. Will. Hi, Will. Eric's Edge is in. We have Starbuck Tech. Geek with Social Skills. Garth Beagle's in. Retrotech Chris is back with a vengeance, and that seems to be. I think I. Oh, maybe not.
Eric, is this the
No,
Jailhouse Rock
we
edition?
have
Yeah, hold on. I'm still scrolling down. Uh,
Tercio Lopez,
yeah, that sounds about right.
and I saw one other name in there. Who did I see? You
Hey,
got
Chris. I was waiting
Sean,
for it.
Geek with Social
Yeah,
Skills.
I said Geek with Social Skills.
Okay, cool. Then
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Cool.
So, everyone, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you coming out and hanging out and spending some time with us. We have a few different topics that we were going to cover this evening. Who would like to start out?
Do you want to start with the new or the old?
I'd like something that grinds my gears.
That's right.
Okay, let's start with the new then, shall we? Because we were debating this prior. So I was supposed to talk about this last Friday, and then I slept in. So sorry, folks, for not being here.
Wait, was
Um,
that last Friday or was it the
that was
Friday
no,
before?
that was last Friday.
So the Friday before was Frank. No, it wasn't here.
Yeah, it was Frank not being
That's
here.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't here the Friday before, and Trina wasn't here last Friday,
Ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen,
and we're all here today.
We're all
ladies and
here.
gentlemen,
We made it
the only
through.
constant in life is me.
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
So I was reading an article um, on that was posted to Reddit and our Apple, and they were talking about Apple had a slump in sales this past quarter of 34%, and so they're talking about testing and releasing the G3. And so I got reading the comments. I went through the comments because sometimes they're not cesspools that you get sucked down into. And
There.
a lot there, so there was basically two kind of main threads that different people started, but there was two main things. One, why do I need it? What is it going to do? What is it really going to do for their sales? Because a lot of people are saying I'm a home user with a M1 or 2 at this point. Do I really need an M3? What's it really going to do
Oh,
for me?
M3. I swear you said G3 earlier, and I'm like,
I did say G3
She
I was
did.
earlier.
like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have a G3 down there. I'm ahead of the curve.
yeah.
Woo! Woo!
I have a G4. I have the prototype.
I have a G5.
Oh well, pardon us all to hell and back again. And then there was another group that, or another topic that was kind of brought up a few times by different people. Yeah, Opie has her chair back. No, that was not the topic.
It was the topic. It
Um,
was very, very heated.
yeah, right. The other kind of topic was Apple needs to innovate again, which I agree with because really, what have they done since the iPhone? They can keep coming up with new versions of
Oh,
X.
careful. You're going to get the fanboys angry.
Well,
Here they
that's the
come.
plan. What and so here's a question to, and it's not only at this point because we were talking about this at work. Computer wise, we've kind of reached a plateau at this point, right? Both
Hmm.
Intel, AMD, Apple are all coming up with these new chips. Nothing's really at this point requiring them.
That's true.
So it's not going to help sales. This is what Apple's hoping is we'll release an M3. All these people come back. The main One of the main thread was I'm an average Apple home user. I bought an M1 or M2. It's doing more than I can ever think of. To check my emails, Facebook, bank, right? There's what
I
you're.
agree with Sean too. Sean said he feels like that's the same thing with game consoles.
Yeah.
I agree
No,
completely.
and it's game consoles can
It's
be
the same
totally
thing.
yeah.
People are just buying like the
So
PS5 was the hype because people had to have the newest version.
Well,
if I may
Yeah.
put on my conspiracy theory hat for just a brief
Oh
moment.
dear God, he's in
I'm gonna
Newfoundland, right?
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go I'm gonna go get my conspiracy
Get your
hat,
tinfoil.
and I'll
Get
be
your
right
tinfoil.
back.
Oh my God, he actually has a
conspiracy
conspiracy.
theory brought to you by Reynolds Wrap.
But yeah, and it's not even a killer app, RetroTech Chris. They a good old southwestern.
Yes.
Yes. See, only those of us in Canada
Oh,
from the east
I need a
would.
Tilly hat. I need a new Tilly hat.
It's not a Tilly hat.
No. That just reminded me.
Oh, okay.
I need a new
I
Tilly
agree
hat.
with RetroTech Chris. It's time for the next killer app, and the killer app will actually be a T1000 powered by the latest AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Trust me, you'll want to get in the chopper.
It's all about the Nebu.
Um,
Okay. So apparently, according to Sean,
It's all about the
forget all
Nebu.
these new computers and PS5s and i9s, 18th generation.
Yeah.
It's all about the Nebus.
Yeah, but even as I'll just say I'm a fanboy. I have Apple everything. I've got the watch, the phone, I've got the AirPods, I've got Apple TVs in the house. I got the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, the Mac desktop. Apple hasn't made anything new in a very long time.
Well,
Well,
especially if you look at what's in your basement.
Have
Jesus.
to get something.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. What have they come out with since the
Yeah.
iPhone?
So
They
here-
really haven't come out with anything new.
I put my hat on. I'm going to do my conspiracies
not
aloud.
not to be crazy or anything, but like I just saw like Apple released the new Pride Band for the Apple Watch,
Oh,
and that's not a new product. They
no.
got bands in
Because
85 million different flavors
you've
now.
been able to get Pride bands for your iWatch, is it? Is what they
Yeah.
call them?
Yeah, exactly.
From like third-party vendors forever
Now,
and a day now.
to be honest, has anybody ever seen the Fit Band that Apple put out for the employees that had the different colors on them?
No.
So Apple, let me see if I can share my screen. Apple employees got a multicolored band for their Apple Watch to promote the fitness. Because in the fitness app, it's got like all different
Multicolored.
colors.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Right.
So honest to God, when I first saw that, I thought that was the Pride band.
Oh, the Pride band.
Yeah. So
Makes
whenever they
sense.
just announced they came out with a band for Pride thing, I was like, I thought they already had that. I had to look it up.
So I'm just gonna touch up
Trina,
before
two things.
Ryan goes on his crazy
Oh
rant.
no! First, Trina, it's specifically you. Opie is looking for something.
Oh, she just wants attention. Is all she wants. Being a
Okay.
pain in the arse. But I'm just gonna touch on RetroTech Chris. Yeah, there are a lot of folks definitely feeling economic pressure. So
Yeah.
I mean, they can release an M2000. Yeah, if you can't I had a customer looking for a 15-inch MacBook Pro, and Apple's if you go to the Apple site, you can find them on their site. The new, I think it's an M2 chip for $3,000 Canadian. Sorry, not everybody who has an extra $30,000 kicking in their
Yeah,
bank
but
account to go.
really, the only way that Apple's been successful in selling newer models is discontinuing support for older ones. And
No,
you
this is
no,
can't
where I'm
get
wearing my
iOS
hat.
updates.
Oh, and
Can
I totally agree with that.
Same
Can
thing
I
with the damn
please do
cell
my
phone.
hat thing, please?
Yep, do the hat.
Okay. So my
Before
hat
his
thing.
boat takes on water.
Yeah. So my thought is so Apple has said that they're going to continue to support Intel for the foreseeable future until they reach a certain generation of M processors, and they'll drop
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
So traditionally, that meant they came out with a new, they came out with a new processor every 2 years, maybe.
Hmm.
I think they're ramping it up because they want to drop Intel support faster than as possible.
Well,
They want to,
that's a good possibility.
right? So they are going to
Designing their own chips is going to save them a considerable amount of money.
Right.
So I get the move to risk architecture again.
Right. So they want to be able. So they'll probably come out with a new M processor every year, even if it's a loss leader, if they're losing money on it,
Mhm.
Hmm.
only to be able to say they finally put the nail in the coffin. Intel is done.
Right.
That is
No,
my
and
conspiracy hat.
yeah, no,
But I
that
think
makes total
we
sense.
all know Apple has designed obsolescence. It's just a thing. But
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah.
they're expediting it by finding a loophole in their own
But then
verbiage.
there's people like us
Right.
who I
They're
still have
smart.
my 2012 MacBook Pro.
Mhm.
Sure.
It is starting to show its age, and I will admit I've been tempted to start looking for a new laptop, Apple laptop, because I have 16 gigs of RAM and I have an SSD. It still chugs at times.
Sure.
So it's what, 11
See, Sean's
years
Sean's
old?
right too. If Apple goes away from Intel, how will we run Windows 7 on a Mac? And you can't.
You
I
can't right
mean,
now.
Yeah.
In
you can't.
PowerPC or on the new
Yeah.
M processors, you can only run it in parallels,
Yep.
and
No,
yeah,
I couldn't get it to work either. So
it's
on
buggy,
my
but it does work.
yeah,
See,
but not natively. You have to do something else.
Yep.
But like you can run Windows 10, but only the ARM version of Windows 10.
No, I have the Intel version running on my.
I don't. I couldn't on my M1 Studio. It wouldn't let me install it. It says
Weird.
it's not supported.
yeah.
In parallels?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Hmm,
I actually paid a real subscription for Parallels, and
interesting.
it says
Mm.
it's not
Well,
supported.
the other side of it too is that's a moot point because within the next couple of weeks, Microsoft is going to announce Windows for ARM, and it's going to be glorious.
And by the way, Geek with Social Skills, it's also when I'm watching Project Runway that it starts to lag a bit too. So not just with the prawn.
Really?
Garth said
You
he's
had to
running
use.
Windows 8 on his M3 MacBook.
He doesn't have an
I
M3.
I don't think he has an
He's
M3.
got the prototype that
Yeah,
you're
that's
He
talking
right.
would.
about.
He would.
That's what it
He's
is.
he's working on them graphics drivers to make sure they break after about 3 years.
Yeah, see,
Uh,
RetroCheck's Chris said the same thing. Couldn't
you had to
run
run the
Windows
ARM
10
version.
x86
I'm
and
gonna have to go
Parallels.
back.
Had to use the
We
ARM
we
version.
set it up at one of client's office, and I'm gonna have to go back.
Had to
Maybe it
use
was
the
the ARM version I did, but I
Yeah,
thought for sure it was.
because Retrotech Chris said he had to use the ARM version.
Yeah, but then
But
you wouldn't be able to run Windows native apps besides ARM native apps. You wouldn't be able to
right,
Yeah,
run like.
Will's right. If you want Windows, run it on a PC. Skip it on a Mac.
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
But
I
there are
I only use
people.
it for testing purposes.
Yeah,
No, I
like there
get
are
that.
Yeah,
people
for
like
for development.
us who
Right.
who all have Linux, Mac, and
Yep.
Mhm.
Windows on a Mac.
The only way I found the best way to get away with it is to run it on a virtual machine,
Yeah.
elsewhere,
Now
like spin
that's
it
the
up
other
on
option
something else.
is if you really want to jump into the Windows world for whatever reason, just go
Hmm.
grab an Azure instance. They're cheap,
Yep.
or an AWS instance. They're cheap. It's not expensive,
Yep.
Let me see.
and then just
Oh,
use it.
okay.
But yeah, ARM for Windows is coming. It's not a world secret or anything. It's just a
No.
matter
Hmm.
of time. And honestly, I think Microsoft's also sounds like they're sniffing around to start making their own silicon. So I
Mhm.
think you'll
Well, I
see.
mean, Risk's open source, so
Right.
I mean, if you can develop
Like
your own
Microsoft now.
stuff, then you're better off.
Right.
I
But
mean,
I think what's
Windows.
going to happen is Microsoft's going to team up with Intel. Intel will produce it for them, and
Sure,
Mhm.
that's the only
the
way
rest.
that Intel's going to come out of this thing
Oh, but
is
Intel
by
just spent.
making non-Intel processors.
Yeah, well, Intel already makes their new
They
plant
do.
in Israel produces ARM processors for Samsung, I believe. I think they're.
Yeah.
And can we take a poll with those watching as well as us three? I have a question. How
Sure.
long do we feel before, because we've seen this before with Apple, that they go to another processor?
What do you
That
mean?
they
Oh, like
stop
they
using
jump?
their M processor. Let's say they go to AMD.
No,
They won't.
No,
they
you don't
won't
think?
They
do
won't.
that.
Okay.
No,
Nope.
I
Nope.
think
Now that they're making their own,
now
they're
that
going to
they're
make a
Ah,
laterally
shit ton of
ah,
money off
ah,
it.
integrated.
ah. I can show you articles when they came out with their G processor that said they'll never go back to using another processor.
Yeah, because they did,
Intel.
but they
Well, they
didn't.
had
They,
to.
they had to because they didn't own the
Yeah,
rights to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
there was
Power
no
PCs.
choice. Yeah.
It was a joint venture with IBM
Yeah, no, no,
and
I get that, but I'm
HP.
I'm
Was it
still
HP?
saying
No.
it was Sid back in the day, the same as when
Y-
Yep.
people complain about new Star Trek not being. I'm going to go off topic here for a sec. New Star Trek not being Star Trek. They said the
Also,
same thing about TNG, DS9,
Sure.
Voyager, right? So I can somehow see down the road. I know
I
we're going to
can't.
say it tonight, and I'm going to bookmark this one
Uh,
episode. So when they
so
change their mind, 20 years down the road, I'll go.
yeah,
Told
Will
you
But
says
so.
they're
but
going
we
to put more and more on one chip to have greater control, and that's
yeah
absolutely it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah
been Apple's
yeah,
game since day one.
yeah.
Is they want to
yeah.
be able to control
And
what's in it.
we don't know what 20 years of the road. Like it might all be
Oh,
AI at
absolutely.
that point, right?
Right.
We might
No, no.
literally
That's
have
right.
neural chips
But
at
but
that
I'm
point.
I'm still allowed to throw out my conspiracy
Oh,
theories.
I
Oh,
agree.
sure. Yeah.
Hold
But
on,
again,
hold on. Hold on.
But again, you look at when did Intel get adopted? 2006.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
2005. That
16,
was
17
Close
years
to
ago.
20, pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
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 So that's a pretty good run for a processor. It's longer than the Power PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's true.
see, I'll put on my conspiracy hat. There you go.
There you go.
See, what makes me mad about the Power PC thing is that they don't make new ones, because I really, really, really wanted the Amiga X5000,
Right.
but it was such a limited run that they're just not making more. So I really wish
And
that they did make some newer stuff that was Power
Right.
PC.
And there's so Will
yeah,
here, I'm going to show that comment.
yeah. Click on it.
Will asked the question, but back to the subject.
Oh, we
What?
can't click on it, Frank. There you go.
Hold on,
No.
I
Nope.
click on
Yep.
it. No, sorry, I tried clicking on it and somebody else commented.
But yes, that's exactly
So
it.
there's a question. What can they come up with?
But Will was right earlier when he had mentioned they do have like that project with the glasses that they're coming out with, and they may make some interaction between their products and the glasses.
Mhm.
Like pretty much like some VR things with the phone or the iPad or
But
even the
honestly,
laptops.
Linus mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. He said his kids aren't using virtual reality. He's the one who's using VR most.
Mhm.
Well, and the
And if
thing
you and if you
is
look at the demographic using VR, it's not kids.
yeah,
It's our generation.
sure. But
Right.
to be honest, so I bought the Oculus and I
Yeah.
have it upstairs. The only thing that I've done with that damn thing since I bought it is I watched Netflix.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I played no games on the thing because
Oh,
I
it's
have
like
no interest.
it's my
Yeah.
PS4. I played the
Yep,
3 games I wanted to
I
play, and
have
then
zero interest in
then it
playing
became a
games
Netflix
on
So
that.
player.
so here's a thought. Apple needs to come out with a set of glasses that were like on Star Trek, the next generation called
Mhm.
the Game. That was that addictive game that they were going to take over the Enterprise with.
Right. Or we start working on holodecks because
Mhm.
ultimately
Yeah,
there's
that.
a,
Hey, there you go, Apple. You want a
there's
new product? Come up with a holodeck.
that because I think honestly the next 20 years is going to be AI. It's going to be all about machine learning, artificial intelligence. It's not going to be you know
Yeah.
and then how does that shape games? Like, are we going to see
Mhm.
reduced game development time? Are we going
Yeah.
to see better in-game acting, in-game voice acting? Are we going to see cheaper games because now
So
it's cheaper to produce?
CNET put an
No.
article out 8 hours ago. Apple's mixed reality headset: what to expect from WWDC's big reveal.
Yeah.
And they're saying Apple's next big product looks like it's going to cost about $3,000 and rest on your face and needs to be tethered to a battery pack. Whatever this expected VR headset ends up being, it isn't immediately clear what it'll do or who it's for. The Reality Pro headset, as it's expected to be called when it's likely unveiled at the WWDC Developer Conference on the 5th, is Apple's biggest new product in nearly a decade. It's
But I think
also
it's
totally
going to
different.
fail. But that's me.
I think it's going to fail as well. I
Because
just don't see
if Google can't make a run
VR.
of it,
Yeah.
it's
Facebook
not.
couldn't
It's
either.
it's kind of
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of one of those things. It's like Apple usually is the first person to try something, and then
Sure.
it sucks. But like, if for
Well,
example, if I
look
was
how much hype we saw over the Apple car. Where the hell's that at?
Right.
it's not going to
I've
exist here.
seen nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than
And
people
here's
made up images.
here's an interesting fact. So we were talking about Apple innovating, and you just mentioned that both Google and the other company, brain not fully functioning tonight,
Facebook, Microsoft,
with the glasses.
well, both of them actually. Microsoft and Facebook both have
Like, yeah,
VR
okay,
sets.
but they flopped.
They're
Mhm.
And
Microsoft's still doing it.
now Apple's kind of coming out going, look at what we can do, but
Yeah,
it's already
it's not.
been done and flopped. Why are you coming out with it?
Yeah, I mean,
They're not
Facebook put
innovating. They're at this
billions of
point they're
dollars in that
copying.
metaverse,
Yeah,
billions of dollars into the metaverse, and then they pulled the plug.
yeah,
It's just, I think the timing's wrong.
Yeah,
It's one of them things like it's not really something people want or
right.
are going to do anything with practically at this point in time, like today. So I don't see it as anything that's going to be anything,
yeah. It's
especially at that price point.
yeah.
That's going to cut
Yeah,
a lot of people out.
Now, if it's $3,000 and you don't need a computer, because you also look at you buy the good high end Oculus, you're spending $1,000, and then you
Oh
have to have a
yeah,
good
plus a computer, and then you got to have damn good Wi-Fi.
right? So
There's a whole bunch in that.
you're probably spending on a good Oculus setup. You're probably spending north of $2,500.
Oh,
Mhm.
sure.
So
By the time you factor in all the other shit you gotta have with it,
is
absolutely.
3,000, if it's self-contained, it's $3,000. Is it really that, but
No,
who's
but
buying it?
for Apple, that's not a far-fetched price,
No.
No.
But
to
again,
begin with.
who's buying
But
it?
still, yeah, I
Right?
just don't see a
The
market there
Google
for it,
Google
honestly.
Glass didn't work. Google Virtual Reality didn't work. You
Nope.
know, Microsoft's Xbox VR is what it is. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not good. You know, uh,
It's yeah, and
Facebook.
it's not a hit either.
No, like when nobody's going out talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't see it.
But
And
the
and
head the
kid and
headset
kids
thing,
and kids are the ones that are going to be the ones pushing it, and they're not the
sure,
ones.
that are
So
gonna
they
use
have
it, yeah.
no need for it. They're
But
not
my
going.
thing is too is like, what is this pair of glasses gonna do that some other product that's already out there doesn't
Doesn't
do?
do, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it just doesn't. I just don't see it. I just don't see it panning
Like,
out.
if you watched, for
I
example,
really don't.
Computer Clan had a great video out today about the Zune. The Zune is
Hmm.
actually making a comeback, right, as a product. The Zune was a phenomenal product. I
Sure.
will not. It was brilliant actually in a lot of ways. It was just 4 years late. That
Hmm.
was that was its problem. It came out in
Hmm.
2006 and not 2001,
Right.
right, or 2002. It was 4 years late, and unfortunately, it had to play catch up to an existing monolith, which was Apple.
Right.
Um, but from a design perspective, the interface is way nicer.
Hmm.
The fact that you can wirelessly sync, they had that in the Zune 4 years before Apple put it in the actual iPod for wireless sync, right? Like, so there was some
Yeah.
really
Same with
really
the
cool.
Microsoft phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a lot of really good stuff about Microsoft Phone.
that had a lot of potential.
The problem with the Microsoft Phone was they should, and they had an option early on to make it Android based, and they didn't, and that's where they made their folly.
Sure.
Had they gone all in with, if they Google and
If
them had
they,
gotten
yeah,
together
they
and
would have
said,
had a
"Listen,
hell of a lot more compatibility. They could
yeah,
have downloaded any apps that Android had.
Hmm.
They'd have had a
exactly,
lot bigger market share.
yeah," and they
But
would have,
being that you had to have a separate ecosystem, nobody
yeah,
wanted another ecosystem that you had to
yeah,
subscribe to get
and
things.
that was the
Right.
problem. But like the hardware was the Nokia Microsoft phone was a beautiful phone. Like
Hmm.
from a hardware perspective, it was
Yep.
great. It's just, it was
But
sad that
yeah,
it was too
Eric's
late
right
to get
too.
one.
They did. They came way too
Well,
late to the
you
party.
you look. I remember Steve Ballmer being smarmy in a bit of an asshat, interviewed like on Bloomberg the day the iPhone came out, and he was laughing, saying it'll never overtake us. At the time he said we're second in the world for phones, and it was true because BlackBerry was first and they were second.
Hmm.
Yep.
But then you look at Windows like embedded and Windows CE and Windows Mobile, and you're like, wow, it looks like I'm running Windows 98 on this thing, and it's
Yep.
2007. This is
Hmm.
terrible,
Yep.
right?
Oh, and by the way, I want to see the MS DOS phone.
Yeah.
You can you can ru- you can
You
run.
got to type in commands to be able to make
Yeah,
a
that's
phone
right.
call.
Yeah. Type
Oh,
in
you
the word. So if you want to load like the phone app, you have to type in the word phone. Press
Now,
enter.
I
no
will
no no.
say,
There's no app. You type in phone space
guilty
phone number,
guilty
Oh,
pleasure.
enter.
Like, I owned several different BlackBerry phones over the
Oh,
years.
listen, I
I
have a
liked it.
yeah.
I did everything I needed to. I loved that phone.
my first smartphone, if you want, and I'm going to use air quotes, smartphone,
Hmm.
was a Palm Treo. It was a GSM
Yep.
based Palm Treo from probably 2000, and I think I bought it in 2006.
Hmm.
So it was probably a 2005 model, but it was the first thing that I could actually get on the internet with, and it was great.
My
Uh,
first, my smart, my first smartphone. Say
mm,
that three times fast. Apparently, was a was a BlackBerry Pearl.
Yeah. No, I had one
yeah,
of those. Chris, MS
Oh,
DOS phone. You'll have to configure memory management to run any app.
correct.
ah, love it, love it.
You'll be
That's
constantly
hilarious.
editing your autoexec.bat to
Yeah.
do stuff.
See, I think, I mean, there's more and more home automation stuff. I think if they had a proper way to make the glasses work well with home automation stuff, like when somebody rings your doorbell or something, it pops up and you can see an interface with the people on the glass, or
But
Well,
again,
news or
don't,
what
whatever.
do you?
I
So
I
don't
if
just
see
you're
don't
that.
think it's going to do it.
sorry, I just want to just confirm what you're thinking, Frank. So you'd have like a camera outside your door.
Yeah, like a
Somebody,
ring
Oh yeah,
camera.
I
like the
I
Ring
can't.
camera
Yeah,
or the Simply
right. So
Safe
I
or
I
Google
come
Nest,
ring your
whatever.
doorbell, and then if you have the glasses on, doop,
Yeah,
my face pops up and goes, "Hi, I'm here for the visit."
Just like on Back to the Future, like on the wall television thing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
pop right up
So
there.
so here's my thing that I think about it, and this goes back to VR, which we were talking about earlier. Is everybody has one of these now, right? Everybody has a cell phone.
Hmm.
Usually has a smartphone in their pocket. I'm not saying we're lazy, but there's nothing difficult about going, oh, my phone, there's somebody at my door. Oh, it's
That's true.
Jimmy,
That's what I do.
right?
I
Mhm.
use it on my phone.
Like how is it? It's not
But
worth.
so Will says the glass connects to the iPhone, tablet, and laptop and works with them. See, like I would have absolutely zero use for that though. I mean,
Yeah,
personally,
Yeah.
like if I'm like literally the distance is like here using my phone or my
yeah,
computer or my laptop, what the hell do I need the glasses for?
yeah, and
And
that's my point.
I
I
wonder.
think it would make more people sick with the weird depth
Motion,
perception
yeah,
issues. Yeah, and the motion.
So here's also something I was thinking about because I remember as it being told as a kid, you're not supposed to sit this close to a TV because it'll
Yeah,
hurt your eyes.
yeah,
absolutely.
Now, if you got
But
these,
we're all like this.
yeah,
no, but we're not all the time. If I want to work on a Word document as an example, and these
Oh
glasses
yeah, I'm
work with
not
my
doing that on my
computer,
phone.
are you going to sit there with these? I don't think so.
Yeah.
no.
Right? You're going to have
The,
eye strain and
I don't know if
like
you guys
a
remember the
heartbeat.
Virtual Boy, but
Yeah.
a friend
Hmm.
of mine growing up actually had permanent eye damage from the Virtual Boy.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm with Eric. I won't be satisfied until it's a contact lens interface.
yeah.
Me too. That would be so much easier.
Right.
But again, like to what end? At that point, it might as well just be a neural interlink
Well,
and
and then
be in
and
your
then
brain.
it's saying that the glasses are going to be connected to a battery pack. Like that's going to be such a pain in the ass
It's
having
very
some battery
kludgy.
pack attached to you
Right.
somehow.
But you know
I
what? You
just
know what, Frank? Here's the funny thing: the Apple fanboys, they're going to apologize for it, and they're going to be very apologetic, but they're still going to buy it. They're
I'm
going to say,
not.
Just hang
I
on
think
for a
that's
sec. I'll be
dumb.
right back. I just thought it. Do I have it?
Um.
Babe, I love you, but you're being a pain in the arse.
So my topic that I was going to talk about was
Just hang tight for 1 sec.
"All right,
I gotta try to
it's a
find.
Scotch break time. 1 second, I'm going to get some Scotch."
I'm just
candy
trying to.
is dandy, but liquor is quicker.
I'm trying to find my glasses. Jeez, Louise, I keep misplacing them.
See, if you had
Oh,
the Apple one, it had already shocked you by now.
yeah. So these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they also have a light in the front, right? And it has a little battery. So I'm wondering if the glasses. I know we're saying it comes with a battery pack, but I'm wondering if it's going to be something
See, that
built
would be too
into the
bulky.
interface.
Like that's the thing about the Google the Oculus for me is like it's pretty bulky.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's ginormous.
But see,
So
this is not all that bulky,
yeah,
right?
yeah, but I
So I'm
can't.
wondering if Apple can make it something like that.
Yeah,
You know what I
but
mean?
I'm
Like with a
picturing
flip
more of
down.
a thing like your glasses on your face,
No, I am as well.
where
Yeah.
it's not like bulky and intrusive. Like you don't
And
look like an idiot walking
here's
down the
another
street with them.
question. What about those of us who already wear glasses?
What I miss?
We were just talking about the Apple.
That's true. See,
You
I could
know?
see that, Will. You know, like you see the
Oh, sorry. I
do you
didn't.
remember like the virtual keyboards where it's a projection and you type?
Yeah,
So Will's talking about like if you have the glass version, you don't need the phone in your hand. You know that it doesn't care where it is; it just pops up on the screen by
No,
just pressing, you know, whatever.
but
So that makes sense to
I
me.
still can't see the sense of it though using it with a laptop. I just can't.
No, he was meaning not that you're looking at the laptop, like it connects to the laptop,
But what would you do
but
with it?
everything's
Pass.
on the
Yeah, I know, but
lenses.
what? Yeah. And
I don't know.
how do you navigate a desktop environment that's designed from Apple to work with a
Yeah.
mouse?
See, Garth, I'm with you there too. I think one of Apple's near-term growth areas will come from advances with medical monitoring via the watch app, AirPods, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I think that is the big ticket item because I do use the EKG thing on the watch, the heart rate thing on the watch. I use those. I don't look at them all the time, but I do use those. So if they came up with some type of like glucose monitoring that interfaced with their stuff and things like that, or even like with the sleep apnea machines or any of that kind of stuff, I really think that's a
Yeah,
big
that's
ticket
yeah.
item that they could make a lot of money on.
Okay, it's only over one eye. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, Will says it's right, and it's only over one eye.
Yeah, that's
So
what I just
essentially,
said.
you look
Yeah.
like Picard with the Borg. and
okay.
you can virtual
Lakotas, isn't it?
type or whatever. Yep, you can
Yeah.
virtual type or whatever by
But I
just
still,
looking at a surface or something.
to
I think
me,
that's
that
cool.
to me that, and this is old fart talking because I'm the oldest of the three of us. That would get confusing because okay, so I'm looking at the screen here, and then I have this eye free, so I'm now looking at the screen with my free eye as well as it being blopped right up here in my eye. Uh, sorry, I'm thinking from the laptop point of view. That's all.
Yeah, but see, Sean Geek with Social Goals says that you don't really do you really want a computer looking and controlling your health related things? They already do that with those glucose machines, the little
Yeah, the ones that are
I
on your
call them
hip.
the little beepers that are on your side,
Yep,
that auto monitor you and do it.
yep.
And I know a friend of ours that was an actual doctor that had one, and his screwed up all the damn time. He was
They're
always
they're a
cussing at
lot
the
they're a
machine
lot
because
they're a
it
lot
was
better now.
finicky. Yeah.
It
No,
yeah,
no, this
probably
was just
depends
like
on
a
what.
year ago. Like
Oh,
yeah, it was finicky because it kept saying that it was one thing when it really wasn't, and then
oh.
him as a doctor would tweak it, and trying to get it to where it's supposed to be.
Well, Garth, you're supposed to have all the inside information on that.
Garth, will Apple ever make another Macintosh or iPhone again? See, I think they would make money by recreating a classic machine with newer technology, because they can definitely take like an Apple II and condense that down into a better board with more
Well, geez,
inputs and outputs and stuff like
they
that,
could simply do
and
it with
run
a
the same
with
OS.
a pie board. Like, you could
Oh,
really
yeah,
shrink it down.
sure. But what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying is, I mean, I really think that they could make a lot of money by reselling classic machines, especially the harder to find ones.
I said the same thing about cars, but unfortunately with cars, they can't due to safety reasons. Like BMW would sell millions of E30 BMW cars from the 1980s if they made them today.
Hmm.
Oh, sure.
Everybody
Oh,
and the brother would want them.
those are
Yep.
classic cars. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
right.
See, Garth, I especially love how crappy old businesses like hearing aids will be going away sooner or later. You can do all that with the AirPods now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
It picks up, room noise and amplifies it and stuff. So yeah, you could. Those are way cheaper than hearing aids.
Well,
Hearing aids
okay.
are super expensive.
So geek with social skills. I am going to touch base on this. He said he didn't want medical devices connected to the cloud. The nice part is I have a blood testing system that's connected to my laptop. I don't have to record my blood sugars. It automatically just throws them up on the cloud. They can hack it. They can't kill me with it.
Now,
Right?
I remember
They could put
watching.
in fake. If somebody wanted to hack it and put in like my sugars are
What
like
was it?
40 instead of 4, they're more than welcome to, but it won't affect me.
Something I thought was cool, and I saw it on the blacklist. So it wasn't a real thing, but I thought this was a very cool premise. There was a pill that this guy had designed, a pill capsule, and it had medication in it, and it would report electronically that yes, it was taken, and two,
Hmm.
it sent a level of your blood system to show that it actually worked. Because for like people like schizophrenics or things like that have medical conditions where they don't remember if they've taken their medication or not,
Or
this
dementia or whatever. Yeah.
this auto reported that they took their medication, it went into their system, and it worked. So that if somebody couldn't remember if they took it or not, it kept track. So I
That's
thought
cool.
that was a cool idea. I think that
Yeah.
that's pretty neat.
There you go, Apple. Come up with that.
But yeah, Will's right. None of our data is private anymore at
Yeah,
all.
no.
So I mean, honestly, if you think that you're doing what you can to protect
Oh
yourself
yeah,
and
no.
not be online,
I'm
it's
still
there somewhere.
I'm still giving the needle by hand. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'm still
Well, I
still
can
that way.
remember originally when I was a kid and had the EpiPen, it used to come in the an orange case, and it had a tourniquet and a syringe and a vial of epinephrine. Like you had to
Yep.
do it all by hand.
Hmm.
And then now it is
Is it like a pen? An
Yeah.
insert pen?
now it's an auto inject pen. Yeah,
Mm.
it's got a spring loaded mechanism in it that
Oh,
does
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So next topic, because we could sit here all night and talk about this.
Yep, that's true. What will or will Apple not do?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's a huge, huge.
Well, pretty soon with the glasses and everything with pills telling you if you're taking them or not, we might as well just be in cubicles standing up to sleep to
Yep,
regenerate, uh, and we'll become one with the apple.
that's right.
My name is 8 of 7.
Hey, I'm 7 to 9 because I'm just that damn hot. Thanks.
You are not Jerry Reinhardt. I'm sorry.
But my topic was is I was trying to think about this today, and Trina pointed out some things pre-show. Um, if you were somebody
Just Trina.
new, yeah,
Just
well,
Trina.
Ryan did too, but
Oh
yeah,
no, no.
well, you
Okay,
had a
no.
great idea with what you had
Yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Because I honestly didn't think
I'm
about
just
that.
gonna go
But
have a nap
for
now.
me, it wouldn't work just because I don't have the time. But what I am thinking was, I was thinking was, is if you were trying to get into retro computing, how would you, as a newcomer with zero experience, or you happen to see something and it reminded you of a computer that you had when you were a kid, or in school or whatever, like a lot of us, how would you even get started in that? And is there somewhere locally that you could even go to experience, one hands-on, or try to get your feet wet? Because let's say I knew nothing about, retro computing, and I didn't collect anything, like how would you know what to buy to start out with, or where to get connected, or even to find, this group of people of ours on Discord or any of those kind of places? Like, where would you even start?
Google,
Uh,
If only there was a
yeah.
website we could punch this information into.
right? And
Yeah, I
it's
know, but like for me,
and
it doesn't really give a lot of good options.
I was thinking, Frank, about your question,
A boot.
Hmm.
about your question. And I know, like, I get this kid. He's 17, 16, 17. He buys all
Hmm.
my older Apple stuff. Loves it
Hmm.
because I give him a really good rate on it because he buys it like crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and so I asked him one time. I said, "How did you get involved?" And he said, "I did a Google search, and he found a group on Facebook.
Yeah.
He typed in vintage computers
Yeah, there's
groups."
nothing near me though, which is
Yeah, well,
odd, and that's why I thought it was interesting.
that's because the nearest thing to you is a barn with cows.
I know,
Uh,
right?
Yeah.
if I may interject,
Retro cow tipping.
uh,
Yeah.
let's put a pin in that. That's a great idea. Um, no, if I may interject, is if something is not available where you are, then that is the motivation for you to create said thing, so that you
Right
can
where
be
you are.
there
Mhm.
for other people like yourselves,
Yeah.
which is exactly what I did.
See, Retro Fox says, I would say from my personal experience, a computer fell into my lap first, and that led me to start looking on YouTube for videos on it, and then he found videos like
Mhm.
LGR and Adrian and stuff. So that's a perfect example.
Yep.
You find something
Mhm.
at a thrift shop that looks cool, or a yard sale, or grandma died and we
I
found
was gonna
some
say
stuff in
Nan.
the attic.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Nan gave it to you, but okay,
Well, same
Nan's dead
difference. She
Yeah.
apparently.
gave it to
Yeah.
you either way. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so so yeah, other than YouTube, I mean, YouTube is honestly the best source for that kind of stuff, period, anyway, because you can find videos on literally about anything,
Yep.
on YouTube. But more of a personal, because on my Cisco journey, I was the same way. You can do whatever you want on Boston, on the simulators and all that kind of stuff. But I'm a hands-on person. I like to buy the real hardware. I like to
Same here. I
screw
bought
around with
I
it
bought a
in person.
2500.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So like for me, I don't want the simulators and stuff like that. So using
What's the lab
NetSim's
called? Oh,
okay.
packet trace or
Packet
packet.
Tracer, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Um, Cisco's newer stuff, they use that viral lab and stuff.
Right. 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 Yeah.
But it's cool for stuff like that. But I'm not a huge emulator person. Like I like
Yeah.
the real thing. I like to mess with it, Especially when it comes to networking. You can't simulate, I mean, you can simulate faults, but you can't simulate a cable just screwed up, or a pin's bad, or something messed up with the
A
configuration.
loop.
Yeah, exactly. A loop.
Network loop.
So spanning tree, yeah, if you don't have spanning tree on, you can get a loop. So things like that, like I like the real hardware experience. So if I was to go out and looking at buying a retro computer, a lot of the stuff on eBay, you don't know what it is, especially, if you're newer. You look at something, it might be good, but then you have the issues like we do all the time with bad power supplies, boards needing
Shipping.
recapped, shipping,
Mm.
things get damaged because people don't know how to ship things.
Yeah.
So,
May I interject real quick? I don't know if anybody
sure.
saw it, but there's a guy selling two Lisas on the Macintosh Vintage page, and he offered an option to ship it for $150, and I had like heart palpitations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting ship job.
Hey,
Not
just
everybody's gonna be Sleepy Malibu, where I bought stuff and he literally drove it 4 hours and delivered it to my house.
Now
So
there are people, because I know some people who do this, and I'm one of them, who sometimes will put shipping as a lost a lost leader. So
Sure.
you're going
Yeah,
to lose money on it,
absolutely.
right?
Yep.
Because you want to sell it. You don't want to be like, it's going to cost you $500 for shipping.
Yeah.
I'll charge you 150. I'll swallow the rest myself. Have a good
Yeah.
day. And they do a really great job of packing it.
But
So
it'd be cool if we can find a way, or there was a way to get retro tech equipment into people's hands, especially younger kids that are interested, teenagers in high school, even younger than that, people start out with computers.
go ahead, Ryan.
I
Yes,
just
Ryan?
started. I was gonna say I just started teaching it in my in my high school computer
See,
science
that's
class.
awesome because there is an interest.
Right.
There's a growing interest in kids from
Well, it's
this
neat because
Gen Z that are interested in this kind
I
of
think it was
stuff.
Retrotech Chris said, or was it Geeks with Social Skills? One of them said. Retrotech Chris, he said, I think those of us who had the computers back in the day know where to start because we had them. We know how to. We worked on them.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, we remember the pain of IRQ errors. We remember the
Yep.
pain of plug and pray. We remember the
Oh,
having
God,
to
plug and
no
pray.
internet to get
Sure.
drivers for the modem we need to get on the internet. We remember those pains. But the kids today don't remember those pains, right?
Sorry,
Like
I'm just reading Starbuck text comment. Best way to get into retro computers is to raid Steve's basement.
basement. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if there's a want there, then we should definitely make sure we fill that need.
Fill that need.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
you look at like right now, if you Google vintage computer museum, and you can say near me if you want.
Sure.
There's at least, I'm going to say 20 of them in North America. There are probably more, but I'm going to say there's at least 20 good ones in North America.
Yeah, but okay, so if you go to a vintage computer museum, are they going to let you use the computers?
Depends on
Some
the
of them
museum.
do.
Most of the good ones do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they won't let you play with I don't know, an Apple One. They're not gonna be like, yeah, kids, come over and play on the old Apple One here. It's $1.5 million, but it's okay. But they probably have 10 or 15 Commodore 64s and they just cycle them out as they need to be fixed. Right?
Hang on a second.
And by the way, I do remember playing with marbles, not to do math though, retro techie. So
Justin, I didn't have a K Pro back in the day, and it's showing.
and Justin, just while we have Frank pondering something, I haven't had a chance yet to watch your last stream. I've been caught up with the Casual Criminalist, which has been taking up way too much of my time.
Mr. Simon Whistler.
Yeah, the issue is that because we've been busy at work doing deployments.
So the question is, does Trina have a secret crush on Simon Whistler?
No.
Are you sure?
He has the wrong parts. Positive.
Are you sure?
I am 100. I like him. I mean, he's a great presenter. Don't get me
he's
wrong.
fantastic.
Yeah, I love him as a presenter.
I actually want, he's not a tech, but I'd love him to do like a technology.
Oh, he would be great, especially vintage stuff. He would be a hoot.
What's funny is I do a local search for vintage computer museum.
There's one next door.
And no, it gives me Vintage Computer Federation in Wall Township, New Jersey. That's the VCF East.
Yeah.
That's the closest one to me.
So the closest one to me is in Montreal. It's
it's over 4 hours.
What would be the retro? Okay, so here's a question while we let Frank think, because I can see smoke coming out of your ears, so I know you're thinking.
Oh, I thought that was a reefer cap.
Either that or Pope has just been newly appointed.
Was it white smoke?
Maybe an interesting. So Retro Fox. I'm just gonna highlight his comment here. Maybe an interesting discussion, and we'll throw this out to the viewing public as well, to the chat. For the first time, what would be the best retro computer to start with? They all have their quirks and problems, obviously, but some have more modern solutions. Blue
I know people are going to hate me for saying this, and please feel free to kill me. But best, in my mind, for getting into the thing is what's 1, available, and 2, cheap.
Sure.
So I'm going to say Windows XP machines.
Oh yeah, they're a dime a dozen, literally. Yeah.
And work your way back.
But yeah, I was going to say, or do you mean further back than that?
Well, it's one of those
Like
things you pique an interest.
stuff.
So you get kids using Windows XP, and I always use games. So then they roll back and they go back with they'll go back to
an Amiga
Windows
600 is great. Yes,
Amiga 600 would be good,
but
Amiga 600s are expensive.
And here's an interesting.
I used to use an Amiga 600 for a low-level formatter.
So
I think drives.
Ryan just brought up kind of an interesting point. What is retro? So
That's true.
Ryan teaches at a high school. The kids in the high school has probably never even seen
Their first
XP.
computers
That's
was
true.
Vista.
Was
They all
Vista,
told me it
yeah.
was Vista.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So XP to them would be
That's true.
kind
Well,
of retro-ish.
technically, XP is now vintage. 2001 is when it came out, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah, right.
22 years ago.
Yep.
So,
So
I mean,
it
25
depends.
is sort of the year, but I'm gonna say 20 because technology
Yeah.
moves so quickly,
Well, yeah, yeah, makes
right?
sense.
They really need to start with Windows 98 machine and watch the Weezer video. Like you
Correct.
have to, or that brick wall simulator thingy. Yeah,
Or
you gotta have
the
that.
included VHS with the guys from Friends explaining how to
Oh
use your new.
yes, that's
And
right.
it also depends too. So the question is what would be the best retro computer? It depends on what side of the road do you want to go with. Do you want to go down? Well, actually, there's many, but I'm
Everybody
just
has
thinking.
that favorite niche area.
Right,
We all
exactly.
collect a
And
random assortment of
one of
different
the
And
things
things.
that I look at too is it's kind of like getting into languages. If you're thinking about and when I say language, I mean like
Oh sure,
actual. I mean actual languages like English,
yep,
French. It's
sure,
easier to go to a language that's close to your own language as your first second language.
absolutely. Yep,
So
mhm.
if kids are using Windows 12 or Windows 11, Windows 10 now, and Mac, the easiest thing for them to probably start with is probably Windows XP, maybe Windows 98,
yeah,
ME 2000, that era, and then work your way back. If you throw them
yeah.
into a,
Garth's
there is no
100%
right
correct.
answer.
There is
No,
no right
Yeah,
answer.
no, there is no right answer.
but I'm just thinking from my own teaching aspect, the easiest way to get them sort of involved and interested would be to
Yeah,
work them backwards, right? Like
yeah,
Yeah.
if you
because it
throw them
is
in front
all
of a
about
DOS prompt, they're going to be
availability.
like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. What? But the thing is, Ryan's right. It's all about availability. See
Mm.
what's available in your area first.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
it's easy. You can get it faster. You're not worried about shipping, anything
But
like
like
that.
right now, if you always look at a curve for antiques, and the same thing works for red, right now Windows XP machines are down here at the bottom.
Yes.
They're
Yep.
going to start going back up,
You're gonna find them everywhere.
right? Windows 98 machines are already gone back up, right?
Hmm.
Windows
Yep.
95 machines, 486s. Go find a 486 for less than $300 on eBay
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
You're
Yeah.
not going to find them.
Well,
Yeah. A whole machine now.
Yeah.
when I first started working at the hospital, we had a couple old beige towers.
Hmm.
And so after getting to kind of know people like a couple months in, I said, "Hey, what's going on with these beige towers?" And Leo's like, "Do you want them? Take them. They're just sitting here collecting dust because we don't use them." And I sold one of the motherboards. It was a Pentium 2 motherboard for $150
Yep.
with the processor and I think a 128 megabyte stick of memory.
One of my clients used to
Yeah.
be an old computer store, and I had flagged a bunch of their old stock because I was like, guys, don't throw this out. This is very valuable. I want
Hmm.
it, or I'm going to help you sell it, and we'll work out
Sure.
a deal, or I get to keep a few things. Anyway, I went back down the next week. They had thrown everything out. They had brand new Pentium 2 boards and processors
Oh,
in box sealed,
well.
and they were Intel boards, so they were good quality boards. I was like, oh
But
no.
if you're looking for a portable computer that's not an iPad, get yourself one of these
Yeah,
TRS 80 Model 100s.
you could say it's very basic.
It is very basic. Yep. But yeah, this one's battery operated. I got batteries in this guy.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
can take it with you.
yeah, it's portable.
It's expandable. It's got an expansion slot underneath here.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah,
But yeah,
So,
from going back to the question that Retro Fox brought up, I would say the easiest way to get kids, especially younger people, in is to start with Windows XP and work your way back. As painful as that is for me to think that Windows XP is vintage now, or getting near vintage adjacent, we'll say. Yeah.
Garth's funny.
yeah,
Wow.
Uh, RetroTech Chris, I grew up with DOS, Windows 3.1, and Windows 95.
yep,
Others might have grown up with C64,
Absolutely.
TSR80s. So yeah, different for each person. Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Right.
So my first computer in school in grade 7. So at that point, all the schools around us,
Trina, they had electricity back then?
they had electricity back then. Yeah,
Wow.
She was.
The
You didn't let her finish.
you
She
mean
was
the
just
main
getting ready to
igloo?
say etch a sketch.
Trina, the main igloo had electricity?
many glue had electricity.
Wow.
But so we were one of the poorer schools, so we didn't get all the new tech. So at that point, all the new schools were getting like all the higher end schools were getting Macs,
Right.
the beige boxes.
Yep.
And so in grade when I started grade 7, which is the first year of junior high in Nova Scotia
Same
or
here.
middle school,
Middle school.
um, the teacher had gone around and collected all the Commodore 64s from the other schools because they were just turfing them out.
Yep.
And he created a computer lab of Commodore 64s, and that was my first exposure to a, a,
So
a computer.
it's funny you should bring up Commodore 64. So in Newfoundland, we also had like it was before my time, but we had Commodore 64 labs. Apparently, that wasn't common. In the
No,
United States, it was like a lot of Apple II, I guess. But
yeah,
Get out your Commodore 64.
yeah, we had the monitors, the
Pull it up.
floppy disks. Okay, I don't have one though.
Oh, in my quest for the do you guys remember we talking about going to Best Buy last week and looking for an RF modulator?
I have
it's
a
about
I have a brown shelf.
It's about as useful, Trina. Actually, no, Trina, it's a breadboard.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Yay!
Ah,
I went to the local Radio Shack today, and I was looking still for an RF modulator.
Wait, did you go
And
back
I
in the
asked
time
the
of
guy,
DeLorean to get one?
and no, we still have one, and it's still in
Okay.
business and it works. They do get new stuff too from the
Really?
Radio Shack. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, I stopped in there today and I asked him, and the guy's like, "Yeah, we have some on the shelf over here." So we went back and looked. Couldn't find them. They actually had HDMI to RF, for like older TVs, so you could take an HDMI input, from a DVD player, whatever, and put
into
it
an
on an
older
old
TV.
school TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But they didn't have the right RF modulator. So
What are you using an RF modulator for?
like this, the C64.
Why?
So if I want to hook this up to the TV or whatever,
Why?
I don't have the right. I don't have an RF modulator
Why do you need an RF modulator?
because I need to go from the
No, you don't.
port on the back to the television.
No, you don't.
Well, how am I going to watch the screen?
Get the cable. It's like $12.
What cable?
The Atari monitor cable.
See, I'm not asking the right questions.
I'm sorry, you are not.
Or not
asking
Atari. Sorry, it works for the Atari and it works for the C64.
Same difference.
You're not asking the right questions.
That's
Try
exactly it.
again.
I didn't
Mhm.
ask the right questions.
So if you look at the back here, one of these, this guy here, I think, is a DIN that
Yeah.
goes out to composite. Will go out to composite and Luma and Chroma.
Yeah,
It's essentially
mine's
S
not
video.
labeled. Yeah.
But yeah, like RetroFox said, an AV cable for the C64. I
Yeah,
buy them on
right.
Amazon. They're like $12.
Hang on.
They're
Amazon,
probably that means they're probably like $8 in the U.S.
Yeah, or $3
or
or free.
less. Yeah. They give them away
We
if you
sh-
buy
we
anything
shake
on
your, we,
Prime.
I'm shaking my
Yeah.
fist at you guys with the lower prices down there.
Exactly. Geek with Social Skills is essentially S video, just broken out differently.
Yeah.
And you can actually get an S video cable too that just goes from.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
to-
so 5-pin to RCA? They
Show me
are
the picture.
$8.
$8. See.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, what I did buy at the local Radio Shack today.
Sean said he'll
was
just send
this.
you Frank. Sean said he's just
Yes.
going to send you one. Oh yeah, they're great. I have
$4.99. I just bought that. It doesn't work as well, but it'll get by.
So Frank,
But that's what I
return
bought
it.
today at
Get
the
your
Radio Shack.
return it. Get your $5 back because Sean, Geek with Social Skills is going to send you a cable.
There
Now,
you go.
Send
I
him
need
your
cable.
address.
Now the next thing you'll need,
He already
to
has
get, Frank. The next thing you're gonna need to get. I'm just gonna turn my camera slightly so everybody can see.
I need a joystick. That's what I need.
You need one of these things. Over here.
Which one?
One, either this
The
one,
monitor, the old Commodore
or
monitor.
this one, or that one, or the one underneath.
They
or the
are
one over
nice
in the
monitors.
corner. I don't mean to brag, but all my Commodore monitors still have their doors,
Oh, no kidding.
and that's a RetroTech Flex.
Well, so Sloopy Malibu, when he brought me the 64, he goes, "You just need your cable." It's like, what cable? Well, how do you hook up your Atari 2600? And I was like, that's
My
in
what?
storage. I gotta go dig for the stupid thing. I don't know where it's at.
Middle school was Macs for the most part, and a lab of LCs and PC Juniors for typing. You typed on PC Juniors?
Oh my
They
gosh.
have like the worst keyboard.
You mean you didn't have Mavis Beacon? She didn't teach you typing?
So
Got me.
wait, you're telling
do.
me you didn't do typing on a typewriter? That was my typing
No.
class in grade 10 was a typing class, and we
We
had
didn't have
this we
typewriters.
had this guy with this really weird US accent. It sounded kind of down south, but you were not to go any faster or slower than he did.
You know
And
what's
then he would
funny
go,
though?
A space
Is-
B B B. Yeah.
My class, we didn't really struggle with the typing at all. because we were all at home using AOL Instant Messenger.
Right. So this is, and then I made this point. I don't know if I've said it a few times in different videos, but so there was again going back to you're looking at your bar graph here,
Yep.
your line graph. There was a time when kids didn't know how to type, and so they had to be taught in school. And then around 2002, I'm going to say, kids started to know how to type because of AOL Messenger, chat, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And we stopped teaching typing in school.
Yep.
And then the iPhone came out, 2007, and the ability to type went down. So we actually have to keep typing again. It's bizarre. Like I'm using Mavis Beacon in class again. It's
I feel dumb,
the
but didn't the
strangest.
Sega Genesis use that same cable?
What?
The DIN to the RCA? I swear the Sega Genesis had the same
It
thing.
might be a DIN, but it might not be the right
Wasn't
one.
it?
It might be pinned out right either.
Yeah.
Yeah, Geek with Social Skills.
Yes,
ICQ.
ICQ and Merc. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh.
And
Chat
yeah,
rooms.
we also had the we had the same typewriters with
I
the
actually have
round
one of those
IBM typewriters with round ball. That's what we were
I'll
using.
send it to you, Trina. I have one in my garage.
I don't want what am I going to use a typewriter for?
To write the next great American novel.
They're well, I am Canadian.
She's
and
Yeah,
going to
but
use
where is
her
Canada
her
located?
Apple Glass.
Where is Canada located?
above the U.S. where it belongs, so we can shit on them.
No, we are all part of North America. The United States does not get to, monopolize the term America.
No,
We
I
are
know,
all-
I know. It was funny because I was talking to somebody. Speaking of that, I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and I somehow we got talking, and I said, "Not here in North America," and they go, "Oh, you're in the States," and I'm like, "No." here's a map of what actually North America is.
North America is larger than the United States.
Yeah, imagine that. Isn't that
Canada
crazy?
by itself is larger than the United States
That's true.
by
That's
a
very
lot.
true.
hmm
Ryan, what was your topic?
I was going to discuss obsolete technology, which seems ironic, but because this is a
Well, we had
retro-
already mentioned Radio Shack, so let's move on. Just kidding.
And we're not talking about your mom this time either.
No. So what I wanted to talk about is rotary
Everybody
dial
loves
phones.
those phones. Everybody loves those phones.
So
One
rotary
second.
dial phones. Yeah, go ahead. Trina's gone somewhere. All right. So
I think she probably went to grab hers. Now I feel
Probably.
left out. I'm the only one who doesn't have one on the stream.
well, because we made her feel bad because she didn't have a Commodore.
That's true.
I should send her one. I have a few Commodores kicking around. Yeah, Sean seems to think this is his phone for some reason. I don't understand. Sean, if it's your phone, why is it in my house?
The call is coming from in the house. That is true. The call is coming from in the house.
Justin, that's hilarious and sad.
I just realized I haven't used this Bamboo X1 Carbon in like 3 weeks.
You should print a phone.
I know. I'm gonna have to now.
Anyway, I just want to talk about like technology that's in our timeline, our time, frame for our life, our lifetime,
Sure.
has become obsolete.
Yes.
Right? Like, oh, hey Joe,
Hey Joe, how are you?
you're never late. You're fashionably slow.
I just relate it to Joe has his own time zone,
Yeah.
so wherever he's at, it's the right place.
It's
It's the right place, right time.
JST, Joe Standard Time.
Joe Standard Time, JST. I believe we should institute that now.
Boom. Look at that.
Commodore phones. Commodore
Apple
phones.
3 land, lost track of time. That's all right.
Okay.
It's
It's because
oh,
the,
hey,
the
Joe.
Apple 3 doesn't actually have an ability to keep time, doesn't it? That's the problem. It doesn't have a real-time clock, does it?
That's one of the many
See,
problems.
Joe
with it.
wants it too. Give me those phones now. I told you, everybody wants those phones.
Ah,
Those phones are more popular than the Apple 3. Honest to God.
I
More
would
people
say that is right.
except for
are
there's
trying
one.
to get those
there-
phones.
there is one difference between these and the Apple 3. I can actually still plug this in and use it.
See, here in the U.S., they've abandoned the rotary. I don't think it works anymore on the telephone lines.
I have a machine that allows you to use it.
Yeah.
Because for a while I got a landline when I actually got this just for shits and giggles. I never did any dialing out, but I could get phone calls in on it.
Freaks
Oh,
you
yeah,
out
that's
when they ring.
Well, you can always hook it up to a
Yeah.
VoIP adapter and take
Yeah,
incoming
And that's
calls.
what I
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
at the sci-fi conventions. I leave this out on the table, and the
Yeah.
kids can pick it up. They can dial out, and when they call, it comes up caller ID, comes up Commodore.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
saying.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
there
just
you go. Rotary to dial convertible doodle.
sorry. I saw yours, and I'm like, okay, I can't let Ryan be the only one with one.
so yeah, just thinking back to all the technologies that are, currently you used and stuff that we've seen, completely disappear in our lifetime. I'm thinking rotary dial phones. I mean, other
Yep.
than people's grandmothers and the scattered collector who, like myself, keeps them. They're a collector item. They're kind of a conversation piece. People have them
Blackberries.
as a kitsch type thing, but they don't
Yep.
actually. They're not used. If they're
What's the
used, it's
same thing
very
with blackberries?
Blackberries
There's
are
a lot
another
of people who
example.
collect them, but
Yeah.
you
So
can't use them anymore.
so I just have a quick story about rotary phones. So my grandmother used to have a rotary phone. It was black, and it was my dad's
Okay,
mom who
Trina,
had.
it was the time. It was a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time, but she had it till the day she died,
Yeah.
which was in the early 2000s. So
Okay.
anyway,
Yep.
mom and dad have
Right.
a
Payphones,
mom and
typewriters,
dad
fax
mom and
machines.
dad have a cordless phone that they're always losing in the cushion of chairs that
Yeah.
they sit in. And so when I was down, oh God, like 5 years ago, down home, I went to a flea market a Saturday morning with a friend of mine, and they had a black rotary phone.
That's
So
awesome.
I bought it for them, and they had a table between their two chairs in the TV room, and I set it all up for them Sunday morning when I got back because I was out partying. It was Pride weekend. Um, and I stayed over at a friend's place that night, and I that morning I got home before they got home because they were at church, and I set it all up for them, and I said, look what I have set up for you," and they were ready to shoot me, and to this day they never use it,
Funny.
but they do have a landline, and if I was to call them, it would ring.
That's funny. But yeah, like technology it's funny how like certain things have disappeared. Do you remember when you were in kindergarten, Trina? Probably when you were in high school.
Wow, thanks.
I figured you would graduate high school what 94, 95?
95, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you're 10 years older than me.
Mhm.
Um,
9 years older than me.
Oh
or
God.
I was 2004, so yeah, 9 years old.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But was it a Stetler machine? A Statler machine? It was a photocopier, but it was like blue ink, and
Oh,
it
and you would
smelled.
you would
Yeah,
hand
it was
crank them.
cranked.
See,
Yeah,
Mhm.
ours in the U.S. they called those Ditto machines.
Ditto machine, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Same thing.
same
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it had like the purplish blue ink.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, funny.
Yep.
Look,
We had those.
um, uh, what's his name? Will just said the blue ink, the copy machines in schools. A
Yep.
mimeograph. Yeah, that's it. Or meme
Yes.
Yeah.
graph.
Yeah.
Mime graph. Meme. I feel old. But yeah, you remember they used to smell really nice. I'm sure they gave us cancer. Like they had to be terrible for us
Oh
when we were
yeah.
breathing those fumes. But the paper would come out nice and warm, and it would have that like
Yes.
industrial chemical sweetness smell to it. Like
Mhm.
they don't exist anymore.
No.
Other than that, we did find one in the basement of the school. So
And even early photocopiers, they
yeah,
don't smell the same as they do
they
No,
don't.
they
now.
don't.
Oh, they
Because
were definitely pumping
I
us full of
remember,
God only knows what.
I remember, like mom worked in an office, and they had photocopiers, and I remember going to the big thing would be to go see mom through the summer, a couple times through the summer, and
Right.
have lunch with her. And so you go into the office, and all you can smell is that old photo. I don't know how to explain it. Just old photocopier smell and typewriters because they were still using typewriters in the
Yeah.
office at that time. They
Yeah.
had computers, but nobody used them.
Not so much technology based though, but like going places where people smoked.
Oh, the
Like remember,
teacher's lounge at school.
yeah, like remembering that where you could smell cigarettes
Yep.
in public buildings.
Okay,
Yep.
so back in the day, this
Now,
is
sorry, to some of our people that are in the lower United States, I think that's still allowed in certain
yeah, I think
states. So,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know that it is. A lot of that's changed in recent years.
Mm.
oh, has it? Okay, because I know it was still a thing in a lot
I
of
I
other states.
remember I was 19, 20, somewhere in those range, and I went out.
How old were
Oh,
you in
that's a lot of
1920?
money.
I was 19 or 20.
Oh, in
So
1920. Wow.
1920, yeah. And
okay,
I remember I got out on top.
emergency.
Oh, emergency. Sorry, go
Okay.
ahead.
So I found on eBay in Canada the Commodore rotary phone.
How much?
$159.99 Canadian.
Me.
I
That's the
paid
only one listed.
I
I
paid
paid
30
$40
bucks.
for this.
I paid
Yes.
$30 for mine.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, how much more
But see, the
is
thing,
that listing
the
than
thing is
the
the
ones that you
Canadians who
bought?
know, the Canadians who know about it know.
Yeah.
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 So like if I find a box of 10 more, I'm putting them up for $150 on eBay
Oh,
all
absolutely.
day long.
Yeah.
After I send Joe one and I send
What's funny
Dave's
is it's
Garage
probably
one, and
somebody that watches one of our streams and has seen how much we all geek out over that
yeah,
phone. It was like, wow, I
you know
found
who it
one in my
is?
grandma's attic.
It's Mr. Polka Dot.
Yes, yes. Oh, so Sean says he threw an offer out to that listing. So there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
See, like I don't type in Commodore rotary phone anymore. I just
Mm.
type in rotary phone and I scroll through pages and pages and pages until
Hoping
I
to
find
find
one.
one that's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Exactly. That
mislabeled. Yeah.
somebody just doesn't have it labeled. Yeah.
Honestly, guys, what I'll do is this summer I'm going to be doing a little bit of traveling around the province. I will stop into every antique store because that's where I
Antique
got this
store.
one,
Yep. Yep.
and every antique store in Newfoundland is full of rotary phones
Yep.
because that's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it
right.
is.
Yeah.
And I will find if I can find a couple, I will buy them, and you guys can just have them for what I paid
So
for them.
how widespread were those phones?
You could not buy a Commodore VIC modem in Canada without buying one of these phones.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
So imagine how many people. So say 10% of the people who bought VIC 20s bought the VIC modem.
Yeah.
Then there's whatever that number is of
Yeah.
them.
Gotcha.
So just to go back to, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. So just to go back to smoking
Mm.
in public places. So when I was about 19, 20, a couple friends and I had gone out to Dooley's.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if you had Dooley's in
they
the.
don't. It's a Canadian thing.
Okay, so we went out to Dooley's, and this is
It's a
when
it's
you.
a pool hall. It's a franchise pool hall bar
Yeah.
system.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we went to Dooley's, and those were the days when you could smoke and drink at Dooley's. And so we had a couple of drinks, and so my friend said, "I bet you I can drink you under the table." And I said, "Fine. Where do you want to go?" And he said, "We'll go up to this bar." And I said, "Okay, we'll do that." And I said, "But I got to stop. I got to pick up a pack of smokes first." That's when cigarettes were affordable. I think like Demorier was like $4 for a pack of
Okay.
25.
No,
So
not bad. Yeah.
yeah, right. So I'll pick because
Yes, yes, Retrotech Chris. That is where Minnesota Mary hangs out. In fact, little known fact: Trina's stage name is Minnesota Mary.
Yep. That's
Yep.
true.
So anyway, I picked up. So I had half a pack and I had a full pack at the time.
And you sounded like Kiefer Sutherland when you were done the
Oh,
deal.
and I can tell you how many I had because I had finished off the pack and a half. That's how I had 35 rum and
Your
coke that
mouth
night.
must have tasted like an ashtray.
Well,
or
but you're also
campfire.
don't forget you're having a smoke with a drink, so it doesn't.
That's
Anyway,
even worse.
but yeah, those are the days when you could sit at the bar and just smoke
Smoke.
and drink, chain smoke.
I'm thinking other technologies that have gone the kind of the way of the dodo. Kind of a funny one, but like computer labs.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Sean has left for dinner, so have a
Oh,
good night.
Oh, have
Good
a
night,
good
Sean.
night. Do you remember cyber cafes?
Yeah, like, and that was the next like internet cafes, right? Like,
Yep.
but funny
Internet
enough,
cafes.
they still serve a purpose for a lot of travelers
Sure.
because and so they still exist in fairly like big cities. Will still have one or two.
But aren't they just called Starbucks now?
No, like ones that actually
No,
have
places
computers.
that have computers where you
Yeah.
rent time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But a lot of places now too, like our public libraries here, have become that.
Yeah,
If you
Sure.
need internet, you
Yep.
just go to the
yeah,
public
of
library.
course. Yeah.
Or
Right.
Wi-Fi access for a lot of people that don't have
Mhm.
internet.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. So
And
That's a good point.
Retrofox said there's something else you don't see either. Cigarette pack dispensers. I remember those.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
they don't have since the new rules came out here in Canada, you're not allowed to have them, but they
Yeah.
still existed. I do remember seeing them. They were
Mhm.
just not very popular. But
See,
now in
I
Canada,
was
you're not allowed to have any branding, so
no.
all cigarette packages have to be gray.
I remember. I started when I was 12 because the legal age was 16, and you weren't asking for ID back then. So you
Right.
could just walk into a store and say, "I need a
Well,
pack of Demori," and go, "There you go."
back then, the cashier was actually a wild grizzly bear, and the photo,
No,
the
it
ability
was
to take a photo had just started. Like it was a recent invention.
it was a moose, not a grizzly bear. It was a
Sorry.
moose. Yeah. And that's when they had the shelves behind.
With all the cigarettes, you could see all of them.
Yeah, you could see all the packs. Yeah.
See, that's how it is still here in the States.
Yeah,
You
no.
go to any gas station, any store.
Here in Canada, you have to. I was when I went back to school, when I was 26,
Back to school,
they had just
back
come up with a
to
policy
school,
that
to
you
show
couldn't
daddy I'm no fool.
that you
Sorry.
couldn't you had to take them off
Got
the
my shoes
shelves.
tied tight.
So we had
My
filing
lunchbox with, I hope I don't get in a
we
fight.
had
Sorry.
filing cabinets under the counter that we
Right.
had to
Filing
keep them.
cabinets. Huh,
Yeah,
With
that's where you
liquor
had to put your
or
cigarettes
cigarettes.
interesting.
because they stopped it when I was working there, having them on the back shelf. But the back shelf was so much easier. Oh my god, because you just turn around, you knew exactly where to grab.
Yep. Hey, now, careful with those hands. Um, yeah, and so some of the other technologies, just thinking fax machines. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah,
I think they're one of those.
hospitals
Yeah,
still use them.
but that's the thing.
Medical,
Is like they're gone, but they're
Some
not really
schools.
gone. We still
and
use
there's
them.
Yep. Some schools too.
and there's a reason that the hospitals still use them, because if they need to send off a prescription, emails can still be hacked.
Right.
Faxes
That's
can't.
true. Just the facts.
Yeah,
Yes, Justin, I was just about to make that comment too. LGR's recent video from today was all
build a
about it.
bear computer. What is
Yeah,
this? I'm gonna have to
somebody,
watch it. Yeah.
yeah, it's somebody took an IKEA bear and put a Pentium 3 inside it.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
terrifying.
Too funny.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, fax machines are kind of still around. They're not really. What was one of the ones I was thinking of the other day? Um, like books with phone numbers in it. Like remember how your
Yes.
parents used
Phone
to always
books.
keep,
Yep.
but not even
Hmm.
phone books. Like
Oh
phone books
yeah,
are one
like the
thing,
little
but
black
like
book
the little
thingies with
black book
the
thing
alphabetical.
they'd keep by the phone, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Retro Chris
You
Chris,
keep,
the dial-up internet. Yeah, sure, that's true. Although technically, like FujiNet and all those are, I suppose, are similar to dial-up. They're like a
why is
Yeah.
faux
there
dial-up.
so many?
Being able to slam the receiver down
Oh.
when you're angry at someone. It's hard to angrily press
Yep.
a button on a phone.
That's true.
I did that yesterday. So I keep getting this call from this company that wants to sell me a debit machine. And I'm like,
Just get a
listen,
Square. You don't need a debit machine.
well, I don't even need that because everybody pays me with the e-transfer.
There you go. Even better.
And that's what I've been telling them forever. And they don't listen to me. Drives me crazy. I'm trying to find a picture on my computer, but it's being stupidly slow. Why are you being so slow? You're not this slow on my laptop. There we go. Documents? Come on. But yeah, there's so many technologies that we don't use anymore. Roll down a window,
Right.
you know?
I still do in my '94 Suzuki Carry that I use on the farm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Does it even still have a top on it?
Yeah, it's like new. This
Okay,
one's in really
okay,
good shape. I imported it from Japan. What 6 months ago or so? I picked it up.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Manual credit card imprinters, the old
Yep.
slide ones. Yep.
Yeah.
They're gone.
They used to break those out when the internet was down in some places, when the credit
Yep.
card
They would.
processing was down. They'd
Mm-hmm.
bring that out.
Just going
AM
into
stations are dying.
yeah,
AM
manual
radio stations.
transmissions. I refuse to let manual transmissions die, Chris. They will live on as long as I have
Again,
breath in my body.
my Suzuki Carry's a manual.
Yeah.
It's also right-hand
Um,
drive.
but like like going to an event, like going to a concert or something, and have people
Oh,
to
sure.
like a family event and bringing a camcorder to record and a
Oh my
camera
gosh,
to
yeah.
take pictures, and like it's all just on the phone now, right? Like
Yep.
you don't need any of that, which is kind of neat.
Well,
Uh,
digital cameras in general are
yeah,
dying. I
yeah,
mean, you still have the SLRs and things like that, like the more professional
yeah.
digital cameras.
Or
People still
the
have that, but the
prosumer.
normal, the normal cheap cameras, they don't really make a whole lot of those anymore.
Yeah, they make a few, but
Digital
not nearly
cameras.
as many as they did 15 years ago or 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly.
Right. A big box software, buying software
Oh
at
my
a
gosh, yeah.
store,
Yep.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
See, I still try my darndest, not to buy digital copies of video games. I like to
right.
have the box.
So what do you do? Fly back to 2002 and buy
Right.
them?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
eBay,
Fair enough.
No, but
Craigslist.
where do you find games that like aren't downloads nowadays?
No, I still do, like for the Switch and things like that. There are a couple that I have that are digital download, but most of them I have the physical copies.
All right, I'm gonna show a picture
PDAs, that's a good one.
of me when I was roughly. I don't know how old I was there. Deb looks around 18, so I don't know, maybe a year. Let me see
Shut up,
here.
computer.
Present.
Sorry, I wasn't talking to you, Trina. The computer started talking to me.
No, I heard the computer talking. It's all good.
Trina, the animated series.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys.
Yep.
Chrome
VHS, that's a good one.
Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. To fix it, go to System Preferences.
How rude.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna fix this. Because we're talking about rotary phones. I got a picture I want to show. Go to Preferences, System Preferences. Where do I go from there, though?
So you know what's funny is I remember when I was a kid, my grandma used to tell me about the party lines, where you'd pick it up and you'd have to wait for other people to stop talking before you can actually use the phone to dial out.
Yeah, Dad used to
Yep.
have that. Yeah. Okay, so it says
And I
so
remember my grandparents bought us encyclopedias,
unlock
when we were
this
kids.
unlock the screen by
Hey,
selecting the
parachute
lock.
pants and big hair, Will, are making a comeback. Trust me. I see them all over
You
the
can't
place now.
touch this. Do, do, do,
That's
do. I
right.
remember making parachute pants in grade 7. They were the biggest thing in our
hmm
sewing class. That's when they taught sewing. Remember sewing machines?
I had to take sewing. Everybody had to take
Okay.
home ec when I was in school.
Yeah, we had sewing. We had
Yep.
4 classes in junior high. We had sewing, wood,
Yep. We
metal,
did
and
that.
cooking.
Yep. Well, we didn't do wood. Well, no, we did wood, but we didn't do metal. We had to make a stool, a foldable stool chair thing,
Okay.
in wood shop. Then we had desktop publishing, where we made stationery and then glued those books together, so like notebook pages that you rip off.
Okay.
We had to do those. And then we had to do home ec. We had to do one sewing semester and we had to do one cooking semester. So
Yeah.
we had cooking, sewing, wood shop, and then desktop publishing, where you had to make the notepads and all that and glue them and all that.
Does anyone know where so it says Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. To fix it, go to System Preferences.
Yeah.
Unlock this screen by selecting the lock at the bottom left corner, but I don't see it in my System Preferences.
You got to
What they're
go
talking
into
about.
the. You got to go into security and then click on the lock.
Okay, thank you. That's what I'm looking for.
The other thing we were talking about this the other day with some of my staff. Kids having their own televisions now is not a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, no, everything's on the iPad. Everything's
Yeah.
streaming now. So yeah, who the
I
hell needs a
guess. Yeah,
television?
yeah.
Right.
Nobody uses DVD players or VCRs or any of that crap anymore. Everything's streamed. So yeah,
Yep.
my 4-year-old, he has his own. Heck, we just bought him a brand new iPad last month. He's got his own iPad. He watches TV on it when we're driving.
Hmm.
He watches his TV shows.
Is it accessibility?
No security, and then you go under.
But
Security.
there's no thing that says security. When I type in SEC, I have internet accounts, accessibility, and network.
There's no privacy and security.
I
I'm not on a
don't.
Mac. See if I was on a
Oh,
Mac.
security and privacy. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Privacy.
And then where do I go to privacy? Okay.
Privacy.
Unlock, yeah. Stupid Firefox or Chrome. Okay, Google Chrome. Check you off. Unlock it or lock it back up.
Lock
Done.
it. Lock
I
it
put the
good.
sprocket locket key in my outer jacket pocket. That's from the Jetsons.
All
Top.
right, let's try this again. See if it'll let me share it. Share screen. Window. Boom. Share.
Boom. Goes the
It
dynamite.
still says check Google Chrome. If there's already a check, uncheck it and recheck it. Then I got to restart Chrome. But
Yeah. Then it kicks you out.
Bye, Trina.
all right, I'll be back.
Do it.
Wow.
And she can let herself in, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, thank God she's gone. What else?
Wait, who was it that had that power adapter for the C64? I think Sean was the one who said he had that too.
Yeah, because he's going to send you the power adapter and
Yeah.
the
Yeah. because I really want to test that Commodore 4 Plus I have.
Really? The 4 Plus is like the worst Commodore.
Well, it probably won't work anyway when I turn it on.
Probably not.
The odds are better that it doesn't work than it does. It's Schrodinger's Commodore right now.
Right now, it works and
We
doesn't
don't
at the
know.
same time.
It's in the box. Now, I
Yeah.
will say the one cool thing about this 4 Plus is. Oh, hang on, wrong box.
Hey,
This one.
I'm back. Let's see if this
Trina's back from outer space.
Back again.
It is missing
Trina's
one
back.
key.
Yeah.
But it is signed by Bill Hurd.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, Starbuck Text is wondering if he can turn this into a a rotary phone.
Hey, Winnipeg.
Did you, yeah.
Which one are you, Trina? The old lady or the baby?
That's
Trina's Benjamin Buttoning.
that's my grandmother to my right, or left, looking at the photo, and that's my sister to my right.
I see the rotary pad with that notepad next to it.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
can write
that's why I wanted to
notes.
show it. Yeah, you wrote notes on it back in the day.
So, is anybody else looking at the notepad and the phone, imagining that episode of Family Guy where Peter's giving the numbers to the housekeeper?
Yeah.
For some reason, that's just what popped in my mind. 1-1. No, I'm not giving you the quantities of the numbers. I'm giving you the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
1-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
yes,
I just
that's
thought I'd
true.
show the rotary phone and the lovely.
Where's the 25-foot cable? So
Yeah,
you can get around
Retro
the corner
Fox is correct. Yeah, most rotary phones, or even wall phones in general, I always saw had a super long coil cord on those suckers. They can walk all the way through the house with them.
I'll show you another photo. Hang on for a sec. Let me find that one. That's my sister. Where's that? Me. No, that's not me. There we are.
Well, we're showing off cute pictures of ourselves. Hold on.
Okay, let's close
I always
this
keep
one.
a nice picture of myself in my wallet because you never know when I need to look at myself.
Is that so they can identify the body if they get in an accident?
Well, this
This is what I look like.
This fat old white guy was pretty cute as a child.
Oh, that's a hoot.
All right, I'll wait till Ryan does his. So.
Wayne's World.
Oh, look at that! You had such a great beard. What happened to it?
I know, right? I was like an Eric's Edge level beard.
Right, and then some.
Yeah.
He's bad to the bone.
Speaking of Eric.
Oh, I'm on the wrong Amazon.
Oh. Hey,
Eric really shouldn't have posted that picture.
Pickles.
So see, the cable could reach. This is me and my little butt sticking up in the air, and that's Dad doing his usual. That's his phone stance.
Nice.
But yeah, there's the. I looked at that picture, but I couldn't share it because it didn't show the phone. But you see, the cord went quite a wee bit.
No, it's awesome.
And there's me showing my butt off. Yeah, exactly. My ass. There you go. Because everybody wanted to see that. There you go.
Nobody wanted to see that, Trina.
Ass and you shall receive.
Right?
Maybe the blind girl.
Yeah, I know the wallpaper. Yeah.
Yeah, that wallpaper was pretty epic.
Yeah, it's definitely 70s wallpaper.
Do the schnozberries taste like schnozberries?
They do, actually.
Yeah, that was shortly after. That was
K-Mac.
shortly.
Trina already taking things apart at that age.
Yeah. No, we didn't have any. That was shortly after they brought me home. After they adopted me.
Oh, I didn't realize you were adopted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
So. And that's you can see.
I wish I was.
You can see
really. You kind of look like your sister, which was going to be my next statement, which would be funny because you're not actually related.
No, it's funny too.
She could have been adopted too. Maybe they were.
It's funny because a lot of people say that I have my mom's eyes.
That's interesting. Seeing you didn't know your mom.
Yeah,
biological mom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Funny. This is one of the other ones too. That dying technology capture cards.
Oh yeah.
For like old school aerial.
Do you remember the old ATI all-in-wonders?
Yeah. This is technically an all-in-wonder.
Capture stuff all the time. Yeah.
Technically an all-in-wonder.
What is wrong? Sorry, my cat's meowing in the background.
Oh.
Which cat?
Opie.
Oh, there she is.
Yep. She's
What,
like,
what,
you
what,
said my
what?
name. Hello.
Have you gone through that whole thing of treats yet, Trina?
No, Jesus, no.
Really? My cats would have that gone in a week.
Yeah, I don't give them that many treats, so
Oh.
Yeah.
What are you saying? I'm a bad cat dad.
no. Or
Wanna
I
fight?
could be a bad cat mom for not
You
giving them
wanna
that many
fight?
treats. Yeah.
I'll fight you.
But,
That's
Come
why
on.
Ryan got his cat the glucose monitor, so he could eat all he wants,
Yeah.
and then it'll tell him when
Oh,
he's full.
speaking of that, so Ryan shared the photo of his cat with the glucose monitor.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then the next day I went into the grocery store. There's somebody walking around with a glucose monitor on their arm. I'm like,
Did
Well,
you
that's
pet
why I
them?
was
laughing.
that's why I was confused when he said that. I was like, "Oh, they make those for cats too," but he said no. That's
No,
a
it's a
really
human
cool
one.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's so cool.
you get them at Costco. They're $80 or $90
Yeah, the
at
stuff they
Costco.
come up with.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Speaking of which, I have to submit my form to my insurance to get that covered. Thank you for reminding me.
Hey, no problem.
So I get my
Do it.
$80 back.
That's right. It
So
all
are we
adds up.
are we done for
I
the
think we're
night?
done. Yeah,
Should
I
we
think
wrap it
I
up?
just kind of want to talk a little bit about the technologies that we remember that are
Yeah.
kind of dead. I'm sure there's more that we're forgetting,
Mhm.
like you know,
Those paper
civil
Oh,
cutting
pagers.
pagers, yeah.
civil liberty.
Although
I can remember.
pagers are still used in hospitals.
I can
Doctors still
They
use them.
remember
really haven't died.
in middle school in 8th grade, I got my pager taken away from me in class one day.
You had a pager?
Oh yeah, yeah, I did.
You a drug dealer?
No, no, no. My parents would send messages.
Parents.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
so his parents would say, "Hey, the drug dealer's here."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Hey, your unlicensed pharmacist friend's here.
You're a licensed
No, I'm just kidding.
pharmacist. It's a good way of putting it, though.
Yep, yep. So I got
Retro wants to know if it's fixed yet. No, Retro
Oh
is
yeah,
not fixed.
floppy disks. There's another good
yes.
thing. Because I remember when we were looking at getting our first family computer, and Mom was looking like, so they had at work they had compact Preserios.
Okay.
So that's
Oh
what
yeah.
she wanted to go with because she knew it from work.
hmm
And
And
back then they assumed all the computers were not the same, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Windows was different on different computers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I was 12 or so. It was Windows 3.1 it came with. Anyway, and I remember telling her we have to get one with both sides floppy drives because floppies were the way of the
Yep.
future. Because at that point we started getting floppies in the mail from AOL
Yep.
Canada.
Yep.
Shortly,
Free minutes.
I
Free
think
minutes.
I think it was a year or two maybe after we got the computer. But you would get floppies in the mail. They were amazing things because you just flipped the notch, formatted the thing, and you had a free floppy. I don't know anybody who ever used them besides for actual like for the AOL part. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
they just
It was
rip
free
off the
for
label and
It was you'd flick on the copy or turn off the copy protection and use
yep,
it.
yep, exactly. Can we have an episode without Trina stories? Wow. Thanks, guys.
Look at that. Retrotech, how do I even have to guess?
Yeah. I know, right?
Retrotech, can we have an episode where you're actually a human being?
He's a cyborg.
I was given a pager one weekend
That's an insult to cyborgs.
AOL floppy disk. Yeah. Yeah. AOL. There's a dial-up
Yeah.
internet. There you
That was
go.
already
Yep.
said.
Oh,
Yep.
was it? Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a dedicated address.
I remember when iOmega zip drives were the cat's meow.
Yeah. I remember when one of my best friends, Shane O'Connell, I remember he's definitely not watching, but growing up we were computer geeks together. He was before I went to private Catholic school.
Mhm.
He was a the guy who got me into like really nerdy computer stuff. And he had a what were they called? Super discs. They weren't iOmega.
Yeah, they had super. They had
Mhm.
SideQuest.
It wasn't Psych. It was they were 120 meg.
Hmm.
And they were like big.
120 meg.
Yeah, but they could you could put a regular floppy disk. They were optical, I guess. You could put a regular floppy disk in the same thing,
Yeah,
and it would
super
read.
disk.
Super disk, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Animation.
LS1 120, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, he had one of those, and I thought that was like the coolest thing. And he saved up all his money to buy one of the discs. It was like $25 per disc. But you could fit, I feel like that guy in that meme. You could fit so much stuff on those discs.
right?
Yeah. Will
Well,
so the green bar dot matrix printer. Every time I think of that, I always think of the two guys on the roof on Weekend at Bernie's
Yeah,
when they're looking at those big printouts and
yeah.
going through all the data. Yeah.
yeah, I
I
I
used,
remember I remember somebody in my apartment building that I had befriended, another computer tech. This was in Halifax, and I had a Windows 98 computer in my
Hmm.
apartment at the time, and he came down. He's with zip disks with the install for ME, or
Yeah.
not M. Yeah, it was ME. The
God,
really
he must have
crappy one.
hated you, did he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, he came down with like a USB
So
zip drive.
he came out with a bunch of zip drives with
Yep.
virus on it, with a virus on it.
Well, yeah, it was called ME.
Have
Yeah.
Have any of you guys bought tractor paper recently?
Yes, it's stupid
Holy
No,
expensive.
crap, is it expensive?
It's
the last
My
160.
time,
It's
God.
$169 a box here.
Yeah, it's
the
like
last time,
holy
the last
cow.
time I bought a box of it, I was part of a computer club and I was doing the newsletters, and I
Hmm.
really lucked in because I would print off one copy and then take it to Staples to print it off like on better paper.
Yeah.
And I found tractor paper for like 99 cents for this massive box of it,
Oh,
legal size stuff. And so that's what I would use to print the first copy and then take it to Staples because I wasn't going to go through ink like crazy. But yeah,
Retrofox Trapper Keepers. Actually, they've made a comeback in schools.
Hmm.
what
Yeah,
are
So
what
that's
are
true.
what are trapper keepers?
they're a type of binder made by Mead.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Weebles.
see,
Weebles wobble,
my
but they don't fall down.
my binders in school were from Mum's work
Oh,
because at the end of the in the
Hmm.
summertime they would go through and do cleaning, so Mum would come home with binders, and that's what I used. We never bought
Yeah.
binders, right? Because they were perfect condition and they
yeah.
were just going to be turfed out.
For my tractor repair manuals and things like that for equipment, for the farm equipment, I use the really heavy
Wait a
plastic
minute.
ones. They're
Wait a
thick
minute, Frank.
plastic.
Frank, hold on, hold on. The Farmers Association of America has told me that farmers don't want to repair their own vehicles.
I have heard these things. It's mostly due to newer John Deere tractors.
Yeah,
All my stuff's older equipment.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Lewis Rossman is
Yeah.
huge about it, right?
Yeah, I know. I saw that, but yeah, I know newer
Did,
John Deere
did you see
tractor
his?
owners have
Did you see
issues,
his?
but
Do you see his merch? He has a mug that says John Deere dealership tears.
no.
It's like
Nice,
that's
nice.
Oh
awesome.
my gosh. No, some of his stuff's really good. I do watch
Mm,
a lot of his things.
I do. I
Yeah.
like his stuff on the some of the tax stuff he talks about. He gets a little
Oh
political,
my
but
gosh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's definitely more central than some of the people on YouTube who've
Yeah.
moved out to Tennessee or to Texas to get away from New York.
Tax,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, on that note,
yeah, yeah. Justin,
before we get
farmers
too
don't want to
political,
need to repair their own vehicles.
That's true.
They need to repair their own vehicles.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
That's
yeah.
very
farmers just
true.
want a tractor that works.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Anyway,
I had a
shall we allow in some of the plebs?
Well,
yes.
we should properly end it before we do that.
Okay, sure. We'll end it and then
Well,
start it
thanks for
again.
coming. Thanks for joining. See you next Friday. Have a great night.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for those who
Or
are
as we
new.
say when we get ready to eat, good bread, good meat, good God, let's eat. Okay. You know.
Yay!
Here, I'll send Retro Techie the link to join because I can text him.
I can send it to Joe
Why are we still live?
and Justin. Are we not supposed to be?
Yeah, we're supposed to end this show, aren't we?
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna end the show and then invite people.
Okay, guys, we'll send out links.